Hey gang, Sally here. Hope you're having an amazing and fascinating day. I know I am coming to you once again from my convalescing couch in Quartzsite. Wow, that almost kind of alliterates. Uh, Bringing you another throwback driving day unedited video. But here's what's going on. In this video, we are traveling from one of my favorite places, which was Seboeis Lake in the North Maine woods. And we're traveling up to Eagle Lake where we have an epic fail for an iOverlander identified camping spot. Yeah, I really hate the fact that people will put things on iOverlander and say, yeah, it's a great boondocking spot. And then you get there and it'll say no overnight parking, no camping, whatever. It's like, really, people? Really? Don't do that. Um, you won't know it because for some reason I apparently lost that last piece of film. I did end up in the rest stop, so you'll have to wait for the next driving day unedited video where I'll start off from that rest stop to see what it looks like. And yeah, just come along for the ride. Had some really interesting scenery, got to see some cool stuff. And of course, as always, I'm chattering my way through the day. Long driving day. If you haven't already, please do consider subscribing. Thanks to my channel members. Thank you for being here. And yeah, we'll roll the intro and get right into this.
Wake up with the sun in our eyes. Sally forth, no need for goodbyes. Journey calls, let's roll the dice. Every mile a new surprise.
Okay, well, we have been in this lovely boondocking spot for almost 2 weeks. I think today is day 13, day 12. These guys moved in night before last, and there are only a total of 4 designated campsites in this entire area, and people seem to be pretty respectful of that, actually. I had visions of, you know, a bunch of people moving in, and for the first, I forgot how bumpy this was. I've been walking it for almost 2 weeks. For the first week that I was here, I was all by myself. I got really excited about that. And then somebody pulled in like just before dusk over there where those guys are now. And then another couple came in a couple hours after dark. And then another couple came in the next day or the day after, I forget which now. Well, turns out all 3 couples, great people. So big shout out to Larry and Roxanne, Jack and Joe, and Jesse and Casey. And I really appreciate it. It's like they adopted me. And Kit. Can you believe all those guys made friends with this guy right here? Yeah. I mean, to the point where I was walking down the road a mile or 2 every morning going this way, and we go heading back to camp, and as soon as we'd get near the camp area, he would take off running, all the way to their camp, not mine. It's like he was running away from home. And in many ways it was really great, but in some ways I spent this week trying to retrain him to, you know, stick around and be with me and do all the stuff. And I don't know if you can see it. Let's see if I can turn the camera. I don't think I can. Oh yeah, I can. There is a little cabin in the woods there, and up until a couple days ago, there were at least 3 vehicles there. So that was kind of cool. So this has been just so relaxing to be able to sit here. I'm hoping I haven't messed up the whole leaf changing thing. I mean, things are definitely turning here. And in part, I mean, I can't see it as much in the trees as I can in the number of leaves that have been down on the ground. And where this guy's parked here, I bet he's camping here, and it's a day use area. Lovely little spot down by the water there. Yeah, he's setting up to live there for a while, I think. Oops. Because right here is the sign that says day use only. That's a great little fishing spot down there, though. And the lake has just been awesome. I went in a couple of times. We had, the first week that I was here, I had temperatures in the 80s, which was really nice. actually even a little bit warm, but it was fine. And we've had a lot of cloudy, overcast days. I've had to run the generator a couple of times. In fact, I ran the generator this morning because I was only at 54% this morning when I got up. And because I haven't been getting hardly any sun, you know, I charge up a little bit every day, but then, you know, I'm using power. So I start the next day at a little bit more of a deficit than I started the previous day. And I kind of wanted to get a head start on that. Oh, because it's going to rain for the next 2 days starting tomorrow. So I'm hoping that the place I'm heading to next, which is on another lake, I'm kind of thinking I want to stay there for 2 nights, just wait out the rain, and then leave again the next day. And I was actually going to stay here, because I could stay 2 more nights for my 14 day. Yeah, today's day 12. And I decided not to do that because of the 2 days of rain. And then I'd want 1 more night to get to my northernmost points in Maine that I'm heading to after that. So I'm hoping I'm going to be able to do 2 nights at the next lake that I'm going to. Unlike this, I think the place that I'm heading is not officially public land. I found it on iOverlander, and I find iOverlander to be really sketchy. People put reviews in for stuff, and they say it's awesome boondocking, and then it, you know, you get there and it's marked no overnight parking, no camping, no this, no that. What are they thinking? Don't put that stuff on iOverlander just because you chose to do it and get away with it. Don't tell other people. Or if you're putting it on there, say that it's marked and what the markings are. I mean, I might even incline to put on a review, you know, for a place that says, hey, I found this site, I thought it was going to be awesome, I got there and these signs were posted there. So I moved on, because that's what I do. That's what I do. Isn't this just gorgeous, guys? I mean, I never imagined I was going to be in Maine's Great North Woods. And I've been joking around with people, you know, when I've been talking on the phone and stuff. It's like, yeah, I feel a little bit like I'm in a Stephen King story. Like that little cabin back there in the woods, and there's a ton of little lanes that go off in the woods and lead back to people's, you know, hunting or fishing cabins. It's a definite thing. And I had so much fun with the 3 couples I was telling you about. They took me and Kit out exploring with them. Got to see a whole lot of stuff that I otherwise wouldn't have seen, because we were basically on almost all dirt roads. Some of them were pretty gnarly, and yeah, that's one of the advantages of having a separate tow vehicle, or having a towed, and I have neither. But it's also like I'm not really in a rush to do anything about that yet. Now, if I decide to spend more time in one place, I may end up getting a towed. Like there was a little lane back there that went off in the middle of nowhere. And then, the morning that they were leaving, which was, I think, Friday, Jack took me in his truck to this beautiful little spring, and I got some video of it, where we filled up, I don't know, I'm going to guess probably about 18 gallons from this spring into various different containers that they had, and then came back and gravity fed it. Hang on, let's try not to rattle the entire house apart. Came back and gravity fed it into my tanks, and that was super cool. So yeah, so basically I refilled my freshwater tank last Friday, so I was able to take showers, and I've had plenty of water, which has been, you know, awesome sauce. And then this road down here is called Public Lands Road, and I don't remember, I haven't been down there. It goes down pretty daggone far. Huge house over here to the left. And then this is where the road starts to get really potholy. some breakfast this morning. I was apparently way behind the curve in finding out about chaffles. So I bought a My Dash mini waffle maker from Amazon for full price of $10. When I was in Indiana, I had it delivered to my friend's house, and that was the first time I tried it. And that time I didn't even know about chaffles yet. That time I made waffles, and they were really, really good. But then I found out about chaffles.
In a quarter mile, turn right.
I've been making chaffles every couple of days now because it's like so super simple. And the basic recipe is just half a cup of whatever kind of shredded cheese you want. I use mozzarella because it's comparatively low calorie. I use part skim, and it doesn't have a whole lot of flavor on its own. So I use half a cup of shredded mozzarella and 1 egg. That's the basic recipe. You mix them up together and you put them on the waffle maker. And for that recipe, each recipe makes 2 chaffles. So when I was in Trumansburg, New York, visiting with my friend Victoria, we went thrift shopping. And I found another one that's in the shape of snowflakes, but the same concept, same manufacturer. So now I have 2. And because and they don't use much power, they only use a maximum of 350 watts, which is awesome. So I can run both of them at the same time. Oops, there comes a train. That's the first time I've seen a train down there. Let's just get out of the train's way. So I can make 2 at the same time. The whole process from heating to eating, heating up the waffle makers and then being ready to eat the waffles, is less than 8 minutes. So basically I turn them on and all you do is plug them in. There's no switches, no nothing. And then once they heat up, you put the stuff on, your mixture on, close the lid, and they cook for 4 minutes, 3 to 4 minutes, depending on what exactly you have in there. If it's just cheese and egg, I usually do 4 minutes. But like this morning, I did cheese and egg and pumpkin puree, and then I added just a little bit of baking powder and a little bit of almond flour just to get the right consistency, because the pumpkin puree made it too loose. And that actually made 4 chaffles. A little butter, a little maple syrup. My goodness, that was delicious. And in the grand scheme of things,
Turn right.
I'm going to add the calories up in my head here. Well, I'm going to add the calories up out loud. 70 for an egg. I think it's 90 for the mozzarella. So that's 150. Pumpkin puree is probably, let's say it's another 50. So we're up to 200 calories. Probably another 50 calories in butter, 250, maybe 150 in maple syrup if I'm being really generous. So, 400 calories. And that was a couple of hours ago, and I'm still stuffed. And super easy. Alright, so we're going to be on this road for about 12 miles. We're heading for Millinocket. And the very first thing we're going to do is get fuel, although we're not going to get much fuel. I've only got 83 miles on this tank, but I do want to top up, and the fuel price, according to Google, is $2.92. So yay for that. And then we're going to go to the Chamber of Commerce, where they have a dump station. And so we're going to dump, and hopefully I'm going to be able to top up my water again. And then we'll get on the road and get busy driving. That's the plan, Stan. Nicely paved road, huh? And what about these views? I mean, you can see the trees are starting to change. And it's funny because when we came up here, a week ago, when we went out exploring, a week and a half ago, you weren't seeing color like this yet at all. So I think I've got the timing pretty close to right, hopefully. But I got plenty of trees to see all the way south to Key West. GoPros, stop recording. So the sign says posted bridge ahead and recreational trail crossing. I think this is part of the crossing of the Appalachian Trail. which I did get to walk a little piece on when my friends took me out exploring with them. So that was very cool. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun being up here in the North Woods, and in part because everything I'm seeing and everything I'm doing is brand new. I've never seen these places, I've never had these experiences, I've never met these people before. So how cool was that? And we're gonna see where we end up tonight. I hope it's where I'm planning on, because I don't really have a backup plan. Yeah. We'll see how it turns out. GoPro, stop recording. Well, here we are entering Millinocket, which is also en route to Baxter State Park. Pretty famous park. And I think part of the reason I'm familiar with that is from having shopped at LL Bean for so long. Go figure. Oh, I'm still speeding. So we're our first stop here is going to be for fuel, and then we're going to go dump.
Turn left.
Inn Restaurant.
Quarter mile. Turn
Okay.
right onto Central Street.
So we are going to be going to Acadia National Park in 4 or 5 days, I think. It's kind of hard to keep track of all the places I've got planned. I'm planned down all the way down around Boston, and there's a lot of stuff I want to do in Massachusetts, including Salem and Plymouth Rock, and all those kinds of things. And of course, one of my issues always becomes, can I park? So I might end up having to skip some stuff, but I am hopeful. Reduce speed for turn.
Turn right onto Central Street.
So Baxter State Park, 17 miles straight ahead. We're not going there. Look at this cool old building. So we're heading for downtown Millinocket.
Continue on Central Street for 1 mile.
So I'm just going to play it by ear. I'm going to do as much as I can. Some stuff might just be drive-bys. We'll see how it goes. And apparently there are lots of large, very well-known trails in this area. I guess downtown is off to our right there. Boy, look at this old house on the left. I imagine that's all cedar shakes, but it's got an asphalt roof. Interesting. Lots of water up here in the Northeast. I'm also really excited about heading south, because we're going to try and stay as close to the water as we can, which would be the ocean. Except I am going to skip, I'm not going to drive through the big places like Boston and New York City. Don't need to do that. I'm going to stop there and bought some produce from that guy. have any produce.
In a quarter mile, turn left.
Huh.
Turn left. Next destination will be on the right.
Wow. If I was willing to do debit pay, it's $2.81. But I haven't signed up for any of that nonsense yet. In fact, I gotta go in here and get a rewards card so I can get started
On the right.
getting rewards, because I keep seeing these gas stations like everywhere. Alright, so this is regular. I don't know what the blue handle means. We're gonna stop right about there. GoPro, stop recording. GoPro, stop recording. Okay, well that took longer than it should have. And I only needed like $37 worth of fuel, I think. But, you know, better to get it while we can. Because who knows what other prices I'm going to be seeing as we go forward. Okay, so our next stop is going to be at the dump station.
Turn left onto Central Street.
And what do you think? Will we luck out and find water there too? I wonder if I should try propane again. I'm betting they might not have a propane store. Huh. Alright, well we're only going half a mile down here. Baxter State Park headquarters over there on the right.
In a quarter mile, your destination will be on the left.
Of course, I have no idea exactly what I'm looking for, although it looks like it's the last building before we leave town. I'm thinking it's this little blue building right down here.
Destination is on the left.
Okay. And they said it was around the back, and it is. So where are we dumping? Well, that says $15 to dump. That seems excessive. So I think I'm going to check for an alternative. GoPro, stop recording. My leak has become much worse while I've been driving, so that's unfortunate. My gray tank leak. So I'm really going to need to get that addressed at some point in the not too terribly distant future. Why is it now 119 miles when it was 96? Oh, probably because of the whole crow fly thing, I'm guessing. Alright, so we've got quite a ways to go. And I don't have a whole lot lot of battery left in my currently forward-facing camera, so I may end up just using the other one instead. Because this one won't take a charge while it's on. I can only charge it when it's turned off. So we've got about 2 hours and 13 minutes by Google time. Making sure that didn't say 3, which means we probably have probably close to 3 hours my time, which will put us there at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Whatever. It is what it is. And we'll get there when we get there. And I really hope it's okay since we're supposed to be raining for the next 2 days. In fact, I'm going to look closely at the forecast. And if I decide I'm leaving tomorrow, I might just keep my slide in tonight so it doesn't get all wet. Because when there's enough rain, and then I have to leave, I pull my slide in, and there's water that gets in underneath of the slide cover. And so then when I start driving, it spills down onto the floor inside. That always makes a bit of a mess. I prefer to avoid if I possibly can. But I am really grateful that I can use everything in this rig, even with the slide in. Awful lot of logging goes on up here in the Great North Woods. And basically the logging operations have the right-of-way on all of these side roads and stuff. Kind of interesting. So we've got a 45-mile-an-hour turn and railroad tracks, and it says be prepared to stop. Yeah, that could come as a bit of a surprise, huh? And apparently it's okay to sleep in the rest areas in Maine, because we passed one shortly after we got on the paved road this morning, and there was an RV parked up in there. There's going to be another one coming up on the left after we get over this other bridge. And, oh, and there's a boat ramp there. Huh, interesting. Yeah, see, I don't think I'd have any problem staying in a rest area here. They've got little circles. That one has picnic tables. It's got a toilet. Wow. Right by the water. That would have been a nice place to stay. But I want to get some miles on, so I'm hopeful that even if I get up here to Eagle Lake and I can't park where I plan to, maybe I can find a rest area nearby. We shall see. Yeah, you can see how threatening those clouds look, although it looks like we might have a little sun up ahead, so that would be nice. And I forgot to reset my trip meter. Bummer! Well, I don't think it's been more than 5 miles, so I'm going to go ahead and do that one. Just going to have some boring trees to look at for quite a while. GoPro, stop recording. Okay, well, apparently we're getting on 95 North, which I didn't remember that was part of this trip, but oh well. So even with being on the freeway, We still have 2 hours to go, 110 miles. So let's see how long we're going to be on the Interstate for. So we got 19 miles of freeway. That's not too bad, huh? So I guess we'll just get busy getting that done. GoPros, stop recording. Well, we're only like 15 miles from the gas station, and I'm definitely starting to see more color coming in. Hopefully I've timed this just right. There is actually, and you know what, I think we're going to go ahead up here and get the scenic view of Mount Katahdin. I got a view of it when my friends took me out exploring that day, but if they feel compelled to put a scenic overlook out here for it, I feel compelled to look. Look at the trees. I think it's going to be gorgeous, guys. I think it's going to be gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Oh, we got picnic tables up here. Wow. Look at that. This is Mount Katahdin is the tallest peak in Maine, and I can't actually park here because I'm taking up too much room. So let's just get on down the road, as it were. Very cool. Oh, all right. I'm gonna pull back in here. Oh, that's not no parking. I can park here. Let's just take a look. We got plenty of color coming in over there. And of course, if it were clear, we'd probably be having a better view, but this is what we got. What do you think, Kit? It's pretty, huh? Okay. Nice. Actually, let's do one more thing and just get an actual picture. I think I had a better view of it when we were out a week or so ago, whenever it was. Okay, but those trees are looking amazing. I am pretty daggone happy with my decision, and I think I've got my timing pretty right. I was just thinking, today's the 25th. I've been in Maine for 3 weeks so far, and I think I probably have 4 nights or so, maybe 5 nights before I'm out of here. It might be a week, I'm not quite sure. Come on, dude. Big state. So, you know, directly up to Seboeis Lake and spent 12 nights there. 11 or 12 nights, whatever. Today's the 12th day, so I guess 11 nights. But that's more than 2 weeks of basically not moving. And, you know, part of the issue is I love to travel and I love to see stuff, but moving every day becomes tiring. So I am set up for being able to move every day for a bit now. But ideally, I'd like to, as I said, I'd like to stay 2 nights at the place that I'm going to, just because of the rain. Because I'd just as soon not spend a day in the rain if I can avoid it. Although, I do have a nice brand new raincoat that I bought at the LL Bean outlet in Freeport. So there's that. Wow, look at it. Hope the colors are going to show up well on camera. GoPro, stop recording. And 19 miles later, here we are getting off of the interstate. And I imagine we're going to get nothing but a whole lot of nothing.
Slight left onto the ramp to Stacy.
I guess Baxter State Park is pretty big.
Continue for 57 miles.
And this Katahdin Woods and Waters National Monument, we passed an entrance, well, not an entrance, we passed a sign for that back in Millinocket, so that is pretty big too. I've never heard of that national monument. So now we've got 57 miles of this road. Oh, I guess the Katahdin Woods and Waters is a loop road, so I probably, shoot, I could have come up that to here, I guess. Oh well. $130 miles to Madawaska. We'll be there after we go to Fort Kent. So basically the plan is we've got a night or two in Eagle Lake, and then I think it's only about 30 miles from there to Fort Kent, maybe less even. But I wanted to get close to where I wanted to be because we're going to do Fort Kent, Madawaska, Van Buren, and Hamlin all in one day. Look at that view. Just look at it. Wow. Well, well, well. Okay. So we're going to do all of those in one day. And that, oh, we're on a scenic byway. I probably should start saying scenic. So Fort Kent is where US 1 begins and then goes south. So I'm pretty excited about that. Madawaska has the Four Corners Park because it is the northernmost place you can drive within the contiguous United States. Hamlin and Van Buren, I can't remember which one comes first. One is the northeasternmost point and the other is the easternmost point. So we're going to hit all 3 of those. And then I think our next night is in a Walmart in Presque Isle. And then I think we've got three Walmarts in a row. 3 nights in a row at Walmarts, but whatever. And I am definitely going to be ready for a restock when I get to a Walmart. I'll be out of eggs. I'm pretty much out of fresh food. I think I've got some more chicken I can defrost from the freezer. And I've got a pound of hamburger in there as well, ground beef. And beyond that, mostly I've got frozen fruit, I think. better slow down for this one. Wow, look at these old buildings. Stacyville. Look at these old buildings that are mostly falling apart. This house on the right looks okay. That one doesn't look too bad. But most of them look pretty decrepit, although as we're getting a little further out of town, it's starting to look a little better-ish, kind of. One thing to keep in mind is that the weather, I'm sure, is pretty harsh and takes a pretty big toll. Houses up here. So one of the possibilities, before I used the dump station back there, I found a campground that wasn't too far out of the way, and I called to see what they were going to charge to dump. They want to charge me $20 to dump, but I could have a site for $35. And since I want to be able to stay wherever I'm going to be for 2 nights, I'm thinking, yeah, that'll be $70. I don't really want to spend that much money, even though it would be nice to be able to plug in for a couple of days and live through the rainstorm that way. But I'm grateful I've got a generator, and I think I said I ran the generator for an hour or so this morning before we left to try and get the batteries to come up a bit. And I may go ahead and just run it again for an hour or so this evening. Can you see the red in that tree and the pink one next to it? Right there. Very nice. Wow, we're going down to 15. Oh, no, it went flashing. It's a nice looking school. Oh, an elementary school on one side, and I guess the high school on the other. Middle school, I'm not sure which. And look, I'm seeing people with RVs going south, and I'm still going north. It's gonna be fine. GoPro, stop recording. Well, we've come up in elevation, so I just got this view out at a pretty good distance to either side. In fact, I had another view of Mount Katahdin. And yeah, it's really pretty, guys. I am so grateful I have this life. GoPro, stop recording. This looks like a cute little town we're coming into. I have no idea what it is. Maybe we'll get a sign. Of course, having to slow down from 50 to 35 on a fairly steep downhill takes a little effort. Oh, and now to 25. Well, at least I can do that going uphill. Oh, and we're still heading in the right direction for Baxter State Park. prosperous. W's Deli and Pizza. I'm kind of looking forward to eating out, I think. Maybe tonight. Let's see. I don't know what Eagle Lake has to offer at all. Here's the turnoff for Baxter State Park. I didn't see how far it was, but I don't really think I want to find out. See, one of the things is you can't really do everything. You can do a lot of things. Ooh, cool house. But you can't do everything. Look at that pretty tree. Squirrel. And so I'm not going to have FOMO over stuff that I didn't know about and didn't research. And, you know, to a certain extent, I'm kind of ready to get out of Maine and start heading south. But, you know, I got certain things I still want to do here. And so we're going to take our time and do those things. And, you know, if I end up adding something else, well, maybe. And if I don't, that's okay too. And I think the trip south is going to be pretty slow by virtue of the fact that I'm planning to stick to US 1 to the greatest extent possible. So we'll see how that goes. And it's only 62 degrees out today, so I've got a long sleeve shirt on, long pants. This will be my second day in a row that I've had long pants on all day. We know how I feel about that. I think it's going to warm up again for a little bit, but, you know, is what it is. And I'll just have to live with that. Alright, well, I think we've left behind whatever little town that was. We'll see what the next one looks like. Look at how steep that hill is going up there. Oh, yeah, except that how steep hills are never seems to show up on camera very well at all. And I never understand why. But I'm going to leave the camera running. I'll tell you what the elevation is when we get down to the bottom here. So 710, and my GPS just told me that there is a steep hill downward ahead. So let's see how high we get up here. And I'm only doing 38 miles an hour. $860 so far. 68, 72, 78, yeah. So from, we're still going up, 880. So basically 180 feet in elevation gain, and then we're going to drop down again. We're at 882. Welcome to Mount Chase. We got down to 820. I don't know why I find this so fascinating, but I do. Over 900 now. 925. Oh, Oh, this must be the steep one. Look at that view, guys. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Back down to 740, 730, 710, 700, 698, 685, 678 was our low point. And you saw, hopefully, looking up ahead, that we're going to twist and wind all the way back up to the top again. So let's see how high we get. Another cool looking cemetery there. And I love the scenic byways. Channel called Story Chasing on YouTube. And I liked a lot of the places that she went to. 875, 880, 885. And yes, we've already 890, it looks like 889. And yeah, even though we were already starting downhill, it takes it a moment to catch up with the actual elevation. So we're not going nearly as low on this one. We're down to 840 it looks like. Aroostook. The county, it's only natural. Part of what's so interesting to me about all of this is that all of these names that I've learned from reading Stephen King, like Aroostook and Penobscot and TR90, Lewiston. It's all familiar and yet brand new, if that makes any kind of sense at all. All right, we're up to 958, 960. See, we're gaining elevation, aren't we? 963. Mountain that is. That's cool looking. Back down to 810, 806, 805, 804, 803, 802. Okay, so our low point there was 802. Kind of nice looking with their metal roofs. were ever to build another house, and I might end up doing that at some point, you know, build basically a tiny house, I'd want a metal roof, but I would want it insulated with sound deadening material, because like rain on a metal roof is really noisy. Wonder what that mountain is. And of course, if I ever publish this, I'm most likely going to just speed it up and remove all of my chattering, I imagine. Driven Henry 13,130 miles since I got him at the beginning of August last year. So basically 14 months and 13,000 miles. And I spent a lot of time not driving very much all summer long in New Mexico. But I put on, you know, a fair amount of mileage last year after I got them, and certainly doing so this year. When I worked on my bookkeeping the other day, my fuel bill year to date was still $500 under budget, but I'm going to eat that up pretty quickly, I think. And I have a feeling, I'm afraid I'm going to end up being over budget on fuel this year. The good news for me and how my finances will work out is that I did make a little money this year, which I wasn't planning on initially. And so I haven't depleted my savings as quickly as I otherwise would have. Because I want all of my regular savings to last until I turn 70 and start getting Social Security. That peak was at 9:05. This kind of up and down the hills is not real good for fuel economy though, but oh well. What fuel economy does your house get? color the further north we go. And we still have 69 miles to our destination today. So that's pretty exciting. Man, look at how steep that one is, guys. Alright, one more and then I'm going to turn this off. North Country Lodge. Game inspection station. I wonder what that means. So we're down to 699. And here we go back up again. The only problem with this is that it's really hard to use cruise control. 856, 865. And look at that. If you miss, you end up in the cemetery on that curve. That's kind of ironic. GoPro, stop recording. Okay, so now we're up to like 1,070 feet. So each of these hills that we go down, you know, we take off some elevation and then we gain a little bit more each time we go up the next one. Pretty cool. And it is kind of nice to be moving again. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed my time at Seboeis Lake. And if I wasn't trying to do something specific, I would have considered staying there longer. It's funny, there was another woman that was there when I got there, also a solo traveler. She had a truck with a cap on the back of it, was her rig, and 2 dogs, good-sized dogs actually. Huh, wonder what that was. I saw a rig parked back in there and a bunch of other cars, no idea. And as I said, she had been there already when I got there. I didn't ask her how long she'd been there. She ended up leaving this morning too. She actually left just a little bit before I did. And it was slightly creepy because when I came out of my gravel pit area where I'd been parked to walk Kit this morning, there was a guy, and I didn't see that there was also a female in the passenger seat until I got on the way back, but beat up looking, probably a Suburban, and a pretty beat up looking pop-up trailer where like the rear passenger corner was not fully engaged with the bottom half of the body, and it had a lot of what looked like Henry's, you know, like you used to fix roof jacks and stuff, all over it. So on the one hand, I feel kind of bad for people that are obviously in fairly dire circumstances, and on the other hand, you know, they're doing the best they can with what they've got, so it's pretty empowering as well. I said there was another rest area here. Oh, right there. Yeah, see, I'd stay at any of these places. Good to know. Anyway, they had several large barking dogs in their vehicle that had started to set Kit off even before we got out of Henry to go walk this morning, and I kept having to shush him and get him to quiet down because the other single woman's dogs were also barking and carrying on. And when I walked up there, I mean, you know, the whole situation was a little bit concerning because they were parked so that they were blocking the other single woman's exit from her campsite. And I looked down there, I didn't see her down there. Well, I got up by the boat ramp and the porta potties, and she came out of the porta potties. I asked her, I said, is everything okay? She said, yeah, why? I said, because there's that guy with his pop-up is blocking your exit. He was waiting there because she was going to leave and he was going to take her site. So everything was fine. Don't assume the worst. And on the other hand, you know, think about the worst case scenario and be prepared to the best of your ability. Yeah, we're at 1,046 now. I'm slightly climbing. 1,050. It's the highest we've been in quite some time. Oh, and I guess we're going to be a little higher yet, huh? And that looks like another RV heading south, huh? Or is that a truck? I can't tell yet. I think that's a truck. Yeah. Very tall truck. And the temperature is dropping. We're down to 59 degrees. Go ahead, dude. This guy wants to pass me. Which is funny because I'm doing the speed limit. And we've only gone another 10 miles. We still have 59 miles to go. GoPros, stop recording. Well, this is the first thing we've seen that's looked like a village for quite some time. Although I'm not seeing anything really commercial. Looks like it's just houses. Oh, 25. Nice little river here. I'm hopeful that I'm going to be able to find a restaurant for dinner. Although my dining out budget is a little overspent. Tall trucks are hauling, because they seem to be really tall. So we still have 42 miles to go. I stopped and took a break for a few minutes just so I could readjust my seating position. The whole sciatica thing has become very real to me. So I try not to drive for much more than an hour without at least stopping and walking around for a minute. Oh, and there's another cemetery. And somebody's got a car down there at the end of it. That's quite a big cemetery. Wow. Let's get on our side of the road. Okay, no idea what that little town was. But it's all gone now. GoPro, stop recording. We're coming into Ashland, Maine, and we're gonna make a turn in 3/4 of a mile. Woohoo! Look, it's got a stop sign. Okay, cool. We're 48 miles from Fort Kent and 33 miles from our destination. So that means... Ew, Ashland Pizza subs and other stuff. Oh, they don't have a stop sign. Oops. Apparently I was the only one that had a stop sign. Interesting. So 33 miles from Eagle Lake, 48 miles from Fort Kent, which means that I will only have 15 miles to get to Fort Kent from Eagle Lake. So that'll be good.
Turn left onto Maine 11 North Station Street.
Interesting, the people coming from the opposite direction do not have a stop sign.
Continue on Maine
Weird.
11 North for 3/4 of a mile.
And in 3/4 of a mile, we're going to be turning right on a Roostock Road. And see, I'm starting to get hungry now. It's only going on 2 o'clock. And in the grand scheme of chaffles are much better for you than regular pancakes or waffles. But I ate a little bit on the early side today, so I could, have everything cleaned up and get ready to go. But we drove by a really big logging operation about 5 miles before we hit this town.
1,000 feet. Turn right onto Maine
It was
11
kind of fascinating.
Road.
They had a train, open boxcars, well, not boxes, I guess, gondola cars that
Right onto Maine 11 North Stem Road.
were full of sawdust. Well, we're coming into some little town not sure what. And there appears to be a pretty sizable lake off to the left. I wonder if this is Portage Lake, maybe. Maine Cedar Store. It's hard to get slowed down enough with all these little towns at the bottom of hills. There's Coffin's General Store and the post office. Yeah, Portage Lake. And the lake's off to our left, but I guess we're not gonna get an up close and personal look with it. Look at it. So I wonder, I guess the whole town is Portage Lake, maybe? As well as the lake. Huh. I'm actually getting kind of chilly. Temperature's down to 58 degrees. I'm gonna turn the heat on for a little bit. At the weather forecast for Eagle Lake, it also is indicating the 2 days of rain, just like it was at Seboeis Lake. So we shall see. GoPro, stop recording. Well, I just passed a sign that said "Brake for moose. It could save your life." I'm still hopeful that I'm going to get to see a moose up here someplace. Hasn't happened yet. So far, all I've seen is wild turkeys, and that was at Seboeis Lake. But I think there's a chance I might see a moose. Not likely to see one on the road, since I don't intend to be driving at the times when presumably moose are most active at dawn and dusk, I think. Kind of like deer. I don't know though. There was also a sign back there a little ways that said 9% downgrade. So I geared down and I put it in tow haul mode, and I think in reality it was just a very short, moderately steep downhill. Road work next 5 miles. GoPro, stop recording. GoPro, stop recording. Look at that. We're up to 1,152 feet in elevation, 1,155, and heading back down again. That was quite the climb getting up here. And apparently there was a scenic overlook to the left, but I didn't see the turnoff. And yeah, I mean, basically from what I'm seeing, the logging companies are just clear cutting. Kind of shocking. Wonder what Maine will look like in a few years if they're doing all this clear cutting. Some rest area. Well, that one seems a little better than the one that I stopped at. The one I stopped at, I couldn't do a 3-point turn in. It was pretty small. In fact, it was the smallest one that I'd seen. But I was glad it was there because I really needed to stop for a few minutes. We have less than 10 miles to go, guys. Sure is pretty. GoPro, stop recording. Well, look at this view. And the huge cloud bank up there. Yeah, if we had some sun, this would be even more beautiful than it already is. And it's pretty beautiful. I think I'm going to have to get my Scenic Byway book out and see what this one is. Google's busy rerouting for some unknown reason. And only about 5 miles to go. I think I'm going to be able to figure it out without Google's help, though. Hopefully. House. See a lake up ahead. Well, on the map, not in real life. Or maybe that's a river. That might be a river, not the lake yet. But look at those thick, thick, thick clouds. Well, I don't suppose it was possible to have really good weather, you know, all the time. And as I recall, after we get through this next couple of days, I think we get a few days of sunshine. That will be lovely. And I think, I can't remember if today's supposed to be the coldest day or tomorrow. But we're just going to have to live with whatever it is. Stop recording. Well, we are coming into Eagle Lake. It says established 1911, and I have no signal on Verizon right now. Hope that changes. I looked at signal. Okay, so we gotta wait for the one-lane bridge. Or, sorry, for the one-lane road. GoPro, stop recording. Okay, well, there is the Eagle Lake rest area. If it turns out that my intended destination doesn't work. Of course, I'm not sure I can find my intended destination, since Google still has not picked up a signal. Wonder what this is on the right. Let's see. North Maine General. Oh, it must be the hospital.
In 1,000 feet, turn right.
So Google says it's rerouting, but it's still showing me where I want to go. So we're going to try this one first. Which means I'm going to make Garmin mad at me. Eagle Lake Grocery.
Continue on Old Main Street for half a mile.
In 1/4 mile, turn left on Albert Street, then take the first left.
That's the Garmin trying to get me rerouted to go to the rest area. Oh, well, we can see Eagle
Turn
Lake.
left on Albert Street, then take the first left.
We can see Eagle Lake over there to the left. That's pretty.
Turn left on Furlong Road.
Pond Brook Cabins over here to the right. And an RV park over there to the left.
In 800 feet, turn left.
So that looks almost like a little boat dock there.
Turn left, then you will
When
arrive at the
possible,
station.
make a U-turn.
Okay.
You have arrived.
What does this say? No camping in this area. See, iOverlander. You suck. We got a little beach here. No ATVs allowed on the beach. Alright, well, we're gonna stop here for just a little bit and try and figure out what's next. And the first thing I want to do is check and see if I've got any signal on Verizon or not. GoPro, stop recording. So once again, iOverlander has screwed me. And I think we're probably going to end up in the rest area. I'm going to check the other end
For half a mile.
of this park and see what it says. About overnight parking. Because that very clearly said no camping in this area. But I wonder if this might be okay. And it might be. this is not signed here.
Turn right onto Old Main Street.
No ATVs allowed on beach. Beach is closed between 11 and 6. Scoop the poop and do not feed the birds. But there is nothing here that says no camping. Interesting. But we're going to go ahead and go look at the rest area anyway, just for fun, I think. And there are no restaurants here that are open, so we won't be eating out today. So yeah, we're going to go ahead over and take a look at the rest area and then decide which we like better. I do have at least a 3G signal here on, oh, and now I've got an LTE signal on Verizon where it was showing none before. Oh, that says fresh lobster, which of course I can't have, but it doesn't look like it's a restaurant. Okay. All part of the adventure, guys. I don't see any reason I can't go back there.
At the end of the street, turn right.
Might be getting a bunch of, you know, kids in the evening.
Turn right onto Main 11 North Road.
Turn right on Aroostook Road.
Main 11 North.
Sporting goods
In
store on the
3/4
left.
of a mile, turn right on Dube Lane.
It says yes, we're open for inside seating. Oh, convenience store pizza subs takeout. Made fresh daily. I think we're gonna go see what they've got to eat. Yeah. Because not having to cook sounds pretty good to me. Okay, GoPro, stop recording.